Okay, we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about Vital Pets, we're going to talk about the new Vital bracelet, the future of my channel and the shop, and a couple of other things that I got going on. So, without further ado, you saw the thumbnail. They're here. The upgrade memories are finally here, sort of. So Cyanic sent me 100 of them, and he sent me all the Founders Editions one. So I'm waiting for the non-Founders to arrive. He actually just mailed them off earlier today before I made this video. So they should be arriving in the very near future. So what this means is that we're going to be doing some assemblies of these things, and then we'll have the installation video coming in the next couple of days. And then we're going to start shipping out some units. Now, my plan for shipping out is, first and foremost, all of the pre-mods and the conversions, those gotta go. So if you have sent me your Vital bracelet, you're finally gonna get yours back very, very soon. Thank you guys for being patient. I'm sorry that this whole situation happened the way it did, but they're finally gonna be coming out very soon. I am technically waiting on a little QR code token to show up for my installation video. I could go without them, but they should be arriving tomorrow anyway, so we'll probably, in the next 24 to 48 hours, you'll see a video kind of pop up on my channel for that whole installation process. So kind of keep an eye out for that. But for the rest of the Vital Pets coming up soon, I want to get a schedule kind of going, and I want to find a way to showcase kind of what's been shipped and what hasn't been shipped, kind of like what I'm currently working on, because I think you guys have waited long enough and you deserve to have that kind of information. I need to continue scrubbing out some info that is, you know, a little more on the personal side that you guys don't need to know. So kind of similar to the first wave of like Vital watches, I'll have some kind of thing that says like, you know, your backer number, shipped or not shipped or whatever. So that's coming very, very soon. I suspect I'm going to begin shipping out these things at the beginning of the week, and then we'll kind of keep going. In some other housekeeping news, I have a part-time employee in my little sister. She's going to college at the end of the summer, and she needed a summer job. Didn't really want to work on too many things, but she's very meticulous and is also very camera shy, so she did not want to be here when I made this video. But she's been gluing and sanding Vital Pets for me kind of in the background, so it's been very nice to kind of take off some of the load of the Vital Pets and kind of work on other portions of it, like packaging and assembling and logistics and stuff like that. So that's what's going on in the Vital Pet world. We're finally going to get everything taken care of and over and done with. Oh, actually, because I know people are going to ask what the difference between the Founders and the non-Founders is with the UM. Literally the only difference is it's just going to be the loaded backgrounds. So if you have an upgrade memory, you've got an upgrade memory. They're not, you know, super exclusive because you didn't get a Founders or anything like that. They just have a different background. So that's that. A lot of people have also been asking me about the new Vital bracelets that have been announced recently, and kind of what are my thoughts on them, and kind of what's going to happen with them, what's going to happen with my current mods and all this other stuff. So I kind of want to just briefly talk about them. Yes, I've seen them. It's kind of hard for me to not see them when I get like 20 plus pings from like different channels everywhere about it. So I've seen them. There will be a teardown video on my channel now that, you know, I've kind of just made it like my thing that I do, to just break Vital bracelets. So there'll be a teardown for these when they come out. I'll try to grab multiple as well. We'll do some, you know, wacky stuff on stream with them, kind of check out what's going on. As far as like my general opinion of them goes, I am not super impressed or enthused. I love the translucence. I love the color a lot, but I think like design wise, I mean, it's just another Vital bracelet to me. I suspect that the internals aren't going to be that different at all. I think that they announced something with like a micro SD card slot, which does imply that things are in fact different, so it's not just a carbon copy, which is going to be interesting, but I feel like they've done the bare minimum, but we'll find out when we actually get them. I think the IPX4 water resistance, you know, it's better than nothing, but I think most of that water resistance doesn't actually come from the design of the internal components, rather just the way they've kind of tightened up the overall shell, because let's be honest, the original shell of the VB was kind of trash. So I think that is fantastic. I'm actually way more interested in the battle system. that they're doing for the new app. If you guys know anything about me, I love competitive games. So I'm not looking to be, some crazy like meta chaser or anything like that. But like I think having a new and improved battle system for me is at least worth checking out. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll kind of just see how it goes. I am definitely going to be updating like the design for the Vital Watch and the Vital Pets moving forward for those particular things kind of in the future as those come. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think overall it's pretty cool, and I really do like the fact that Bandai is supporting the Vital Bracelet more than we were originally anticipating, and I think that's always fantastic. I think the new DIMs look really cool too. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on them. We'll definitely see more about it, especially on this channel in the future whenever I get my hands on them. But we'll just have to wait until I get my hands on them. So there's that. A couple of other things as well, just kind of the overall direction of this channel and what's going to happen. Some things about just like my personal health and where I kind of want to take everything that I'm doing right now, and then just kind of some of the other back end things going on with this channel. So first and foremost, thank you to everybody who has said kind things to me just on YouTube and on Discord and Twitch and everything. Just people being generally nice and caring people for my overall health. And I actually just so this is my second recording of this, because my first recording I forgot to turn my audio on. But I had my work laptop here and I was working my day job as I was doing this and trying to find a balance in the time to do everything. But it's been very nice and uplifting to kind of hear everyone be so patient and caring, and it's very unusual to have an internet community be so nice. So I seriously do thank everybody for your support and just like your overall concern. Somewhere in between my fit of unhappiness, I wanted to take a step back and ask myself, like, what do I want to do with everything? What do I want to do with this channel? What do I want to do with this business? And there was a time in a day where I kind of just like stopped everything I was doing, and I had a weekend to myself, and I told myself maybe this weekend we'll just kind of go back to doing things I want to do, right? Like I like learning and I like exploring, and I picked up some microcontrollers, and I grabbed an old Raspberry Pi Pico, and I started doing some like programming and board development and kind of learning how these things operate. And I made like a little shell bucket thing, and a couple of days later I created a really bare bones. I actually used a different microcontroller, but I created a bare bones VPET over here with a case, and this thing is not going to focus there. But yeah, like I designed like the sprites and the health, and you guys aren't going to see it, and that's totally fine. Nope. Okay. Whatever. There's oh, there. Oh, well, whatever. I can't show this thing off. There. So it's nothing super fancy, but I made a little case for it as well. It's this little translucent, tiny thing. I guess for perspective, like this is, here's a Vital Pet shell that I'm looking at. It's smaller than a Vital Pet. It's a little bit, actually, here's a Vital Bracelet. So it's like roughly the same size, a little bit taller than a Vital Bracelet, but it is a little thicker, and it's just like this little keychain thing I made. And part of this experiment was to just let my creativity loose and to just do something. And it was, I can't describe the feeling of it, but it was like this weird like out-of-body experience that I had over the weekend, where I had to learn about microcontrollers and how the heck they worked. And I always avoided like the electronic components, the electrical components, like for the longest time. So kind of having to come to grips with that and learn about like GPIO and learn how various like, semiconductors work and things like that, and applying my programming knowledge to it. That part was a little bit easier, because some people forget that I'm actually a developer first and foremost. But doing all of that and then just creating a case that originally I was going to injection mold, and then just kind of like letting my creativity just kind of go and do its thing. And when I finished, and actually this was nowhere near finished, but as I was working on this and I kind of reached the end of the weekend, I thought to myself, like, that was some of the most fun I've had in recent memory, just kind of making this little thing. And I'm very proud of this stupid little thing, and it's barely even finished. But as I was doing this, I thought to myself, like, I love doing this so much, and it would behoove me not to continue doing this in such a way that would not be beneficial for everybody involved. So it made me think about like what I want to do with my overall business and potential company kind of moving forward, and especially having like a part-time employee in my little sister. It made me realize like two things. One, it is so nice to have employees, and I need a studio in which I can hire somebody so that way they don't have to come to my apartment. So there's that. And thing number two was I am just completely enamored by just the design process and manufacturing and creating things at scale, and what I can do to help manifest these ideas. And it made me think, well, okay, if I want to continue doing these kind of projects, I feel like I should master things, and I should do things that I love doing, because it's kind of like what this whole foundation is built on. And I think it's safe to assume that like at this point, like I'm pretty good at FDM 3D printing. Like I've mastered that to a degree where I don't have to think about things. I just kind of do, and I know how to troubleshoot things and know how to refine things, and kind of go from there. And the next process that I really want to get into is injection molding. But with injection molding, there are other facets that I have to learn and master before I can do that. And it's kind of like I have to learn how to crawl before I can run kind of deal. And that means that I need to master resin printing, and there's a couple of kinks that I really need to get ironed out before I do that. And I want to learn other processes as well. Like I want to learn how to resin cast well. Like I've done it before, and I've worked on it with friends, but I want to see, kind of test my limits and my creativity and add that to my portfolio of things that I can design and do. And then when it comes to injection molding, I actually, for this case that I have over here, it was a 3D printed one actually, but for this original case, I wanted to injection mold it, and I briefly designed a mold for it. And as I was doing this, I got my mold out of my printer, my resin printer, and I was like, I'm not happy with the way the print came out. And I shouldn't even have to be fighting the print. I should be fighting the mold cavity and the design that I've made, and worrying about things like draft angles and like air gaps and pressure, and not worrying about a warped resin block, right? Like these are things that I still need to hammer out. And what happens when I want to do other things? What happens when I want to get into CNC milling? Or what happens when I want to get into like textiles or metals or jewelry or all these other really interesting design concepts? I can't afford to have something else stop me along the way. And one of the things about the VitalPet that I've learned and I've really taken to heart is that there were so many oversights on various levels, right? Like management, manufacturing, whatever, that I've kind of learned that designing at scale is a completely different beast. And while I knew that, and while I took it to heart, I didn't realize the scope of things. And I want to reel it all back in, right? I want to learn these foundations and these concepts in a way that brings me joy, that makes me happy. And working on this kind of thing made me think like, well, not every single product I make has to sell, has to do anything. And sometimes it's a good idea just to make a build, and to give myself a time limit, and to just go and to just do something. And I figured it'd be a good chance for me to edit YouTube videos. I don't know if you guys noticed, I hate editing YouTube videos. I've said it many times, and it's why I'm on Twitch so much. Editing videos to me is like the worst thing ever. But I found that, my Twitch audience and my own like personal like friends and family, they can tell, and they can really sense my level of enjoyment and enthusiasm, and they are often curious, and they want to provide their own input and feedback when I'm interested and invested in a project. And I think the ability for me to go out and to try something new is something that it's an opportunity that like most people don't have, and I want to be able to kind of capitalize on that while I can. And maybe like I'll open source a project, or when it's all said and done, or if there is a demand for whatever stupid thing I decide to make, then we'll kind of we'll do like a small limited run of it or whatever. But I want to have, 1 month builds where I perfect resin printing, because with resin, for instance, like I need to work on my math for starters, because these prints, there's an issue with like slopes and perfectly flat designs, particularly with like pixel width and calculating like the arctangent of your various prints to mixtures and ratios of proper resins, so I can get a photopolymer resin that I can drill and tap into and thread, but is also still like impact resistant and robust, kind of similar to like a true ABS. I'm trying to find the proper ratio of things like that. And while I've mixed resins before, and while I've done this kind of stuff, I've never got it 100% perfect where I don't have to think about it anymore. And I want to make sure that those are all taken care of. And what happens if I add like pigments and other weird stuff inside of these resins? I want to make sure that when I have a resin print, I can just do, and I don't have to worry about anything, and just kind of go. So then that opens up the door for other projects. So when the time comes for me to use resin printing as a core component, I don't have to think about it. So that's what we're doing right now. I'm gonna probably at some point work on this little thing and like finish this thing out whenever I'm done with like Vital Pets. I'll take maybe like a couple extra weeks off, and I'll finish the software for this, and I'll make a better case and kind of go from there. And then, after that, we'll look into other stuff. We'll try really basic injection molding, and we'll break out the injection mold machine, and you guys can yell at me again for touching hot plastic. So we can do, stuff like that. And I really just want to experiment and to try new things, and to use my YouTube channel as a place for experimentation and for growth, where mistakes are okay, and those kind of things are going to happen. And I think that's, to me, where I find the most joy out of things is, just kind of learning something new and kind of wanting to see what I'm capable of doing. So that's kind of what's been going on in the back burner. A lot of people have also been like curious, because I've talked about this a little bit on stream, but what's going to happen with all the other projects, right? Like, are you still going to be making Vital Pets then? Are you still going to be doing your deck boxes? Is that other big project that you were working on still going to happen? And yes, and yes. So, like I said, not every project that I'm going to be doing is going to be for profit. Sometimes it's just going to be to learn. But the deck boxes are still going to be happening. I don't remember if I talked about that on my last video. I don't remember anything. I'm also recovering from COVID. I got COVID last week or 2 weeks ago, and recovery has been interesting to say the very least. So my apologies. My voice probably sounds a little funny too. So kind of just like, kind of getting back on my 2 feet here, just kind of getting going is a little weird. But yeah, like the deck boxes are still going to be happening. When the Vital Pets are finished, we're going to be doing time tests, and we're going to be doing like speed printing and trying to figure out like what's the fastest possible speeds that we can print at that don't sacrifice quality. So we'll be doing some of those tests on stream. Vital Pets, the shells are still going to be happening, although I still got to have conversations with Heat and Cyanic about like the future of the upgrade memory and kind of what we want to do with it. So that part we still got to iron out and figure out kind of what our partnership is going to look like moving forward. The super secret project that I was working on is still going to happen. It's going to kind of be put on hold right now because I don't think the timing is quite right, and I want to focus on other aspects, and I kind of just want to work with my hands a little bit more. So that still exists. It's still going to happen. It's just going to be a little bit later. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on. I really just want to take the time to experiment and to do other things. And you'll see things that aren't going to be Digimon related. You'll see things that aren't going to be Vital Pet related or virtual pet related. Even like I just showed like my deck box over here, and I talked about it like earlier. Like I want to make jewelry, and one day I want to learn how to make bags and try to manufacture like how that stuff's going to go. Now that I'm into electrical components, I want to dig into some instrument gear a little bit in the future. So I want to like figure out, well, why can't I make my own guitar pedal and stuff like that? So there's a lot of like virtual pet kind of stuff happening, or stuff that will happen in the future. So I'm very excited moving forward. And I guess on another note, just because people have been kind of asking like what's going on in the back end and stuff, people have also been asking me about like Digimon Survive. I'm probably going to be streaming it. I actually don't remember when Survive comes out, and I guess I had the opportunity to look this up when I made my first take of this video, but I did not look it up. I don't know when Digimon Survive comes out, but when the time comes, I'm gonna be streaming it, and then we'll probably play the thing like front to back. Maybe I'll put my playthrough on YouTube once I'm done with it as well. Just a heads up, there's gonna be a lot of cursing because I I tend to do that on stream, so just a heads up. I'm also going to be playing Monster Hunter Rise. It's a tradition for my friends and I to just call off work and say goodbye to our loved ones and just play Monster Hunter nonstop. When Rise came out, initially, the first 72 hours, I think I had like 60 to 68 hours, somewhere in that time frame. Like I barely ever slept, and all we did was just play Rise for like 3 days straight. So when Sunbreak comes out, we're gonna keep that tradition alive, and we're gonna continue playing. I'll be doing some hunts with some chat members on stream as well. So if you're a Monster Hunter fan, you know, feel free to jump in, and don't expect anything that doesn't involve dual blades and dashing. I've got like a max constitution evade extender build, and all I do is dash. That's literally, I dash around and I incidentally poke monsters while I dash, and that's like it. So very degenerate gameplay. But yeah, that's kind of some other stuff going on in the background. I don't really get to play games that much, so whenever I do, I try to cherish whatever time I get with it, and I kind of go all out. So, but yeah, I think that's everything. I'm probably missing something. I told myself to write like an outline. I didn't, so there's probably something I missed. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for some of the other stuff that I got kind of coming on soon, and the fact that Vital Pets are finally trucking along now. I can ease up a little bit and I can relax. So those will be shipping out again in waves and batches. I'm gonna try to not kill myself in the process. So we'll be trying to find like a proper balance where I can get things out in a steady pace without going overboard. So thank you for everyone for being patient with me again. I think that's all. I will see you guys around. There will be more videos coming very, very soon. Look forward to that installation video again, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.